All right, today we are jumping headfirst into a truly massive book, one that's as challenging as it is influential. We're talking about Sigmund Freud's Civilization and its Discontents. It's this incredible look at the constant tug of war between what we want as individuals and what society demands of us. And believe it or not, it all kicks off with a really peculiar feeling.
So, right out of the gate, Freud just drops this bombshell. He's looking at the world, at all of us, and he sees us chasing after power, success, wealth. And he basically hits the pause button and asks, are we sure these are the right things to be chasing? He's really questioning the very goals our whole society is built on.
To dig into this, Freud starts with a puzzle, and it's a fascinating one that came from a friend of his. This friend described this feeling, a feeling where the boundaries of yourself just seem to melt away, and you feel totally connected to, well, everything. I mean, think about it for a second. Have you ever felt anything even remotely like that?
His friend actually gave it a name, the Oceanic feeling. And he made this huge claim that this sensation, not beliefs, not texts, but this personal experience, is the real true source of all religious feeling. It's this powerful, intimate sense of being part of something way, way bigger than just yourself.
Okay, but this is where it gets good, because you're talking to Sigmund Freud, right? The father of psychoanalysis. And this whole idea of a mystical, spiritual feeling, it just didn't fly with him. His entire career was built on finding rational, scientific reasons for why we feel the things we do. He couldn't just accept it, he had to take it apart and see how it worked.
And what's great is, Freud is totally honest about it. He says, look, I've tried to find this feeling in myself and nothing. It's not there. But, and this is key, he doesn't just dismiss it as nonsense. Instead, the fact that he can't feel it makes him even more obsessed with figuring out where it comes from. It becomes a mystery he has to solve.
And that right there becomes his driving question. If this powerful feeling isn't some mystical connection to the cosmos, then what on earth is it? Freud basically puts on his detective hat to find a psychological explanation for what seems like a spiritual experience.
Now, every good detective needs their tools, and Freud's #1 tool is a concept he's famous for, the ego. The ego is, simply put, your sense of I. It's that solid, certain feeling you have of being you, a separate person, clearly marked off from the rest of the world. It's the most certain thing we know, right?
But here's where Freud completely flips the script. He argues we aren't born with that solid sense of self. Not at all. A newborn baby, he says, makes no distinction between itself and the outside world. To an infant, its own body, its mother, the crib, the warmth, it's all one big, blurry, interconnected thing. That separate me is something we actually have to build from scratch.
And he walks us through how it happens. When you're a baby, you're just this little bundle of sensations. Slowly, you start to learn that some things, like the pain of hunger, come from inside, and other things, like the relief of being fed, come from outside. That's a huge step. You start to realize there's an out there that can be painful or frustrating, so you mentally wall it off to protect your own little bubble of pleasure. And boom, right there, that's the birth of the ego. And with that, Freud solves the mystery. The oceanic feeling, he says, isn't a connection with the universe, it's a memory. It's a psychological fossil left over from that very early time in our lives when we had no boundaries, when our sense of self was the entire world. It's a deep, powerful nostalgia for a time when we were one with everything, a unity that we've long since lost.
Now that is a fantastic insight into one person's mind. But Freud, he's just warming up. He takes this idea that our infantile past is still buried inside us, and he uses it to tackle a much, much bigger problem. Why are so many of us fundamentally unhappy living in a civilized world?
And this, right here, is the core thesis of the entire book. He says there's this basic, unavoidable conflict between what's good for the group, for society, and what we as individuals truly desire. We are all caught in the middle of this relentless tug of war.
And Freud does not pull any punches about what's at stake. He says that for us to all live together without, chaos, civilization must force us to suppress our deepest, darkest instincts. Things like raw aggression, our endless desires. He argues that if these were unleashed, society would literally tear itself apart. So we all make a deal. It's an unspoken bargain. We give up a huge chunk of our personal freedom and our instinctual happiness in exchange for the safety and stability of living in a society.
But, and this is the kicker, Freud says this bargain is what leaves us all feeling permanently a little bit frustrated, a little bit, well, discontented.
So the logical question is, okay, but we grow up, right? We become civilized adults. Shouldn't all those primal, infantile urges just go away? Shouldn't we outgrow them? Well, according to Freud, the answer is a hard no. And his explanation for why is honestly one of the most incredible analogies you'll ever read.
He tells us to try and imagine something that's physically impossible. Imagine the city of Rome, but with a twist. Imagine that as the city evolved over thousands of years, nothing was ever torn down. Nothing was ever destroyed.
I mean, really picture it. The ancient Roman Forum would still be there, but so would the medieval churches and the Renaissance palaces, all standing on the exact same spot at the same time. Every single layer of history, from the very beginning to the present day, would be physically coexisting. It's a crazy thought, right?
And that is Freud's big point. That kind of impossible city can't exist in the physical world. But he argues that's exactly how our minds work. In the mind, nothing is ever truly lost or destroyed. The past doesn't get replaced by the present, it all just piles up, coexisting together.
So, that limitless, oceanic feeling from infancy, it's still there. Those raw, primitive instincts for aggression and satisfaction, they are still there too. They are like the ancient ruins buried beneath the streets of the modern civilized city that is you. They haven't gone anywhere, and they're always pushing up from below.
And this is the profound and frankly pretty unsettling question that Freud leaves us with. If our minds are built in a way that preserves the very instincts that civilization demands we suppress, then is this feeling of discontent just permanent? Is being a little bit unhappy forever the price we have to pay to live together? It's a huge thought, and it's why all these years later, this book still hits so hard.